Section 1. The atmosphere is divided into 5 layers. It is thickest near the surface and thins out until it eventually merges with space. The troposphere is the first layer above the surface and contains half of the Earth's atmosphere. Weather occurs in the troposphere. Many jet aircraft fly in the stratosphere because it is very stable. Also, the ozone layer absorbs harmful rays from the sun in the stratosphere. Meteors or rock fragments burn up in the mesosphere. The thermosphere is a layer with auroras. It is also where the space shuttle orbits. The atmosphere merges into space in the extremely thin exosphere. This is the upper limit of our atmosphere. Since ozone is a secondary pollutant, direct restrictions on ozone emissions cannot be made, so restrictions are instead placed on NOx and VOC emissions, the primary pollutants that form ozone. The ozone hole is located over Antarctica. It is formed by natural and man-made factors. Solutions to prevent depletion of the ozone layer involve banning the use of fossil fuels. Section 2. A greenhouse gas is a gas in the atmosphere that absorbs and emits radiant energy within the thermal infrared range. This process is the fundamental cause of the greenhouse effect. Nearly all CO2 comes from fossil fuels and land use change. EPA's regulated air pollutants are carbon monoxide, ground-level ozone, lead, nitrogen oxides, particulate matter, and sulfur dioxide. El Niño is a complex series of climatic changes affecting the equatorial Pacific region and beyond every few years, characterized by the appearance of usually warm, nutrient-poor water off northern Peru and equator, typically in late December. La Niña is a cooling of the water in the equatorial Pacific that occurs at irregular intervals and is associated with widespread changes in the weather patterns, complementary to those of El Niño, but less extensive and damaging in their effects. Major types of fuel include solid fuels such as wood, coal, peat, dung, etc., and secondary fuels such as charcoal, which is artificial, and liquid fuels such as diesel and gasoline and oil. Pros of natural fuels such as coal and oil are that we have large amounts of them on Earth, but they will one day run out due to the rate the Earth can replace its resources to the rate we as humans take them out of the Earth. Section 3. In climate change, a feedback loop is the equivalent of a vicious or virtuous circle, something that accelerates or decelerates a warming trend. A positive feedback accelerates a temperature rise, whereas a negative feedback decelerates it. Industrial smog is the black-brown colored haze that is in the air that can be seen over some cities. It is mostly visible in the summer. Photochemical smog is the chemical reaction of sunlight, nitrogen oxides, and volatile organic compounds in the atmosphere, which leaves airborne particles and ground-level ozone. Both industrial smog and photochemical smog are forms of air pollution, which can ultimately cause temperature change, such as the temperature increasing and precipitation, any product of the condensation of atmospheric water vapor that falls under gravity. Industrial smog typically exists in urban areas where factories burn fossil fuels such as coal, which creates smoke and sulfur dioxide that mix with fog droplets to create a thick blanket of haze close to the ground. Some more effects of climate change are sea level changes in global ice, such as icebergs melting due to increasing temperatures and excessive flooding. The animal and plant life of a particular region, habitat, or geological period, which is a biota, is changing because animals that are naturally cold-natured animals are dying due to the warming of temperatures. Section 4. The Kyoto Protocol commits state parties to reduce greenhouse gas emissions based on the scientific consensus that a global warming is occurring, and it is extremely likely that human-made CO2 emissions have predominantly caused it. There has been a debate over whether or not the protocol actually helps to combat global greenhouse emissions. The carbon offset is a reduction in emissions of carbon dioxide of greenhouse gases made in order to compensate for or to offset an emission made elsewhere. Major types of renewable fuel include solar energy, wind energy, mechanical energy, biomass energy, which is the use of plant matter and animal waste energy to generate energy. These are all positive because they are resources that will never need to be renewed and will never cease to exist.